Welcome back to Tailgate Talk Season 2, Episode 12, with your host, Tip, the prognosticator, co-host Kermit Lovell, a.k.a. Kdawg, and co-host Grant Atkins, a.k.a. Grampus. Boys, let's get it poppin'. Big week in the college football, boys, this week. We had some fun games this week. And everything, and but before we get into that, how's everybody been doing?
Awesome, baby. Eat up with pulls and oak, but I'm doing awesome.
It gets a little itchy sometimes, don't it?
I'm gonna give you a big hug after we get done
If you
here.
do that, I'll be in the hospital for about a week.
You did say you need a week vacation, don't you?
I don't have the time for that.
That's what friends are for.
You can borrow a couple. You can borrow a couple of my days. I've got extras.
Well, Grant, how about you, buddy?
Doing good. Good week of football.
You a little happy this nice Sunday evening?
Oh yeah, it's been a good weekend of football. Smoked a cigar, sang some songs.
Did the cigar make you sick?
No,
I saw where some said they wished it wasn't no cigar smoking celebration game because they're pretty sick. Cigar killed them.
I enjoy a good cigar. So this was just
I'd like to have a big Cuban.
I enjoy a good Cuban, but I enjoy a good cigar anyway. But it just tastes a little bit sweeter this weekend for some reason.
For some reason.
Yeah. You know, I had an old neighbor. He always smoked a pipe, and I used to love walk outside that right after he fired that old big cherry
that pipe smells
up.
good.
God.
Man, I did too, but one time I was like, I'm going to start smoking a pipe. So I go like to the dollar store and get me one of them cheap pipes. And I, didn't realize you're supposed to break them in and do this and this and that. Son, that thing tore me up so bad. My whole inside of my mouth was nothing but blisters. And I'm like, what the world is going on? And that's when this old timer said, buddy, you got to know how to do this. He said, here's your no pipe. He said, take this and it won't do it. And it didn't. He hadn't done broke it in. I didn't realize you had to break them in and stuff. And probably it was like CVS or... Back then, I think it was up here on the hill at Gate City. It was like a Adco or something other. It was like the old drugstore thing. So they probably wasn't good quality ones anyhow. So, all right, boys, let's get on into it. Week 8, right here, the recap. Up first, we had Oregon and Purdue. I feel like Oregon will probably take over that number 1 spot now.
They should. I mean, really, they handled Ohio State at home. Short week. This is one of them games that you see a lot of teams win a game like they won a week prior, come out and struggle the next week. But there was no struggle in this one.
I think the best play of the game, I like to think we give the refs a hard time, I believe the best play of the game was actually the ref making a call down there at the end zone. The guy was in the end zone, but he was leaning forward out of the end zone when he caught the ball, and the ref called him down at the half-yard line. And they was some pretty ticked off people, but after reviewing it, man, that ref was spot on. A lot of people would have called that a touchdown where his foot was in the end zone.
Well, every now and then they get it right.
Yeah.
I just be honest with you, man. I love them Ducks, but man, I hate these uniforms. God, they try to look so much like Green Bay with these uniforms right here. I just don't.
That was classic Oregon uniforms.
Yeah, but they just, to me, it looks too much like Green Bay.
Yeah, that was classic Oregon uniforms. I thought that was wonderful. I like the yellow helmets though.
I just feel too much like I'm watching Green Bay out there playing. some classic things I think should just stay in the closet.
Honestly, I can't believe he said that about Nike and the Oregon Ducks uniforms. Come on, dog. And then you already saying that you didn't like Illinois' those throwback helmets because
The helmets was all right, but they just looked too much like Notre Dame out there.
not enough orange for you.
Yeah, they didn't have no orange at all.
Well, that was called. It was the helmet color, and then the what kind of? It was some. It was called something orange.
I can't remember, but I know them Illinois uniforms were like a throwback to like when Red Grange was playing for them 100 years ago. So
I know.
I imagine everybody's uniform looked pretty similar 100 years ago because there was no Nike or Adidas or Under Armour to,
Oh yeah. Oh, that guy definitely sit there and hand airbrush them things, done a heck of a job on them.
them helmets was awesome.
No doubt, he did take time and done a heck of a job making them look leather.
They sure did. All right, up next, Oklahoma State 35, BYU 38. So it was 38-35.
BYU scored late to win this one. It was that Ollie Gordon, that big running back from Oklahoma State, finally looked like what he did last year. But
Are you saying he woke up?
I don't know if he woke up or if they just figured out a running scheme for him, or I don't know. But he looked good, and they scored. BYU scored late. I can't remember. I want to say it was under a minute to take the lead, and I didn't watch any of it. I saw the highlights though. Came on too late for me. I was already in the bed.
I tell you, this is like watching a back and forth ball game right here. Just two teams going at it, and I love when BYU first come out. They throw about a 60-yard bomb first play of the game. They let them know, hey, we're here to play.
Yeah,
they just
That's like first down play, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was first play of the game. They just chucked it downfield and let Oklahoma State know that they was there to play, and they just made some big plays on defense. BYU did, and that's what kept them in this game and helped them pull it out.
I love that aggressiveness coming out like that. Just like,
yeah, it was an entertaining game.
It definitely sets the tone.
oh yeah, definitely. Auburn, Mizzou, 21-17, Mizzou in this one. Auburn about got them another in here, boys. They're going to end up winning one of these.
That's Auburn football right there at its finest. Close but no cigar.
I think it's about an all defensive game, but Mizzou done a lot of it to themselves. There's one guy made a fumble, run into his own player, and they fumbled again, and they just, to me, Mizzou done a lot to themselves. This would have been a blowout if they hadn't been shooting themselves in the foot there. But
that happens.
A lot of turnovers against Mizzou, and they still pulled it off.
That's Auburn. Seems to be Auburn's thing, though, Kermit, on it. They just make the games ugly. And they, even whenever they've won national championships, like with Cam Newton and stuff, it was a lot of ugly wins.
Yes.
It just seems to be the Auburn style.
Oh, yeah. And Auburn, they even, got a fumble on a punt there and run it in for a touchdown. They still lost.
Yeah.
Everything went their way as far as you could ask for in a ball game. And they still couldn't pull it off.
Louisville, Miami 52, Louisville 45. Boys, this one came down to the last few minutes of the game.
This one had everything in it. Pick six, 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. It had everything.
It sure did. Big plays in the passing game, big plays in the running game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
if you like a lot of explosive plays, this was definitely the game to watch.
Yes, it was.
You know, the U. I think they playing a little bit too close though.
I do too. I think they're going to end up tripping up, man. They keep before it's all said and done, they keep playing like that.
They jumped up, and we all knew this was kind of a sneaky better game than what it showed, an unranked versus a top 10.
Yeah, we talked about it in the picks last week.
Louisville's got speed, and I think it's something Iron had mentioned about their wide receivers, you know, and the speed they got.
But it was a 14-point game with 3 minutes to go. Louisville scored late, went for the onside kick, didn't get it. Miami, no, it was a good ball game, but Miami had it more sealed up, I think, in the fourth quarter than what the score shows.
Not as close to score, really.
Yeah, it was a 14-point game from about 12 minutes, about 10 minutes to go. Because the announcer, I was laughing at the announcer. He was like, he was trying to make it more dramatic. He said, Louisville goes right down the field in 15 plays and scores. And I thought that's exactly what Miami wanted them to do.
Yeah.
Go 15 plays and take about 7 minutes off the clock right here.
They needed to do it in half of the plays, half the time.
Yeah. And that's Miami just seems like maybe a little team of destiny. I mean, and then too, though, they made, man, that Cam Ward, I don't think you can rattle him. I don't think he can be rattled.
No, I mean he's the top player. He's gonna make that mistake and then come out and then get you about 3 touchdowns in a row. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely one of them. Well, right now I think Clemson might be seemingly. Well, I mean, might be the favorite over Miami at the moment. Really,
They might
if
be.
you look at it, when it comes down to it.
I mean, their only loss, to Georgia?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And them two seem like they're on as far as the ACC goes, Miami and Clemson are on a train track headed dead towards each other.
Yeah. I mean, we can't forget about Pittsburgh either. They're still
hanging around.
Sliding under the radar.
But they're the team I think is going to stumble. Because they've won a few.
Well, they got Clemson coming up soon.
There you go. They've won. A lot of their wins have been close, really close games against not very good teams.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of Clemson, we have Clemson 48, Virginia 31.
I'm just surprised Virginia scored that many.
Well, actually, it was a lot worse game than the score ends up at the end. I mean, Virginia scores several late to make it look like a shootout, but it was actually, it was 17-10 at halftime. Then Clemson come out in the third quarter. They scored. That's what
I thought. I thought going into the fourth quarter,
Clemson had it well in hand. I mean, and you think it's over, and Virginia just kept fighting and they just didn't fold, man.
That's the Wahoo way. The Wahoo way. I mean, if you think about it over the years, how many times? I mean, yeah, we've seen them get beat bad, but you never see a Virginia team
quit. Give up.
Yeah,
yeah, they play to the end.
I mean, that's a good sign. If you're a coach, that's what you want to see out of you guys. Never give up mentality. No.
You got anything on that, Kermit?
It's Clemson, baby.
and they're the what?
They the Tigers.
Yeah. Indiana 56, Nebraska 7.
The shocker of
Open
the
your
weekend.
eyes, boys. Did Indiana just send college football a message saying, hey, we belong in this playoff conversation?
If they keep doing that, they do.
Are they a question for both of you? Are they a monster or are they a wagon?
I was shocked with this, and I thought this was going to be one of them coin toss games. I thought it could go either way, and just, you know, Indiana showed up to make a point.
Well, I'll just be honest with you. I was really impressed at how crisp they was on the offensive side of the ball, and they shoved Nebraska around like they wasn't nothing.
That was the part, what little bit I watched, because I was watching that team from South Beach, and flipped over to this one about halfway through the second quarter, and I couldn't believe it, the score, and I watched a little bit of it, and I said, my Lord, Indiana is just owning the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they were burning it up.
But now, me and you were talking before we came on, their quarterback's out for a couple of weeks right here.
Yeah, he hurt his thumb. I'm not sure what the extent of that is, but he is going to be out a few weeks.
They keep winning. I mean, they absolutely deserve to be in the playoff. I mean, we keep winning, and they're in the Big Ten. So I'm assuming at some point they're going to have Ohio State or Oregon or both of them, and that's when we'll find out if this is a fairy tale or if this is for real.
Right now they're saying, bring it on, boys, because I was very impressed how crisp they was offensively. Now, it may be a little different now that this guy's going to be out for a week or two or 3 weeks, whatever. They're saying that he does return in 2024 season, so it's not a season-ending injury, but South Carolina 35, Oklahoma 9.
Woo! How about them Gamecocks, baby?
Well, I can tell you right now, Oklahoma's offense looked like crap. They definitely look like crap against South Carolina's defensive front.
South Carolina, well, we talked about that last week. You know, South Carolina was they was going to get somebody, which, I mean, I know this really, in my opinion, is not an upset.
It was about time for them to pull off one, and I just tell you, whoever's got to face South Carolina here on out, you better take them for real, because, they've had 2 or 3 really close upset games, and they showed you right here that they're not just some team that shows up once a week, every now and then.
That daggone, like you said, their defensive line, that defensive front is definitely an SEC defensive front.
Absolutely.
And that quarterback, he's young, but my gosh, is he talented. Once he figures things out now, it's yeah. They got the talent down there.
Absolutely, they do. Well, up next we got the big game right here, the Tennessee-Alabama game, buddy. Grant, I got a little something for you here, okay, pal?
Play my favorite song.
There you go, buddy.
That's music to my ears. I post that anytime Tennessee beats Alabama. I post that on my social media, and because it might be the greatest song ever. And I mean, you know, they were playing Dixieland Delight last night. People might think that's being rude to Alabama, but any of us that know the song Dixieland Delight, they're not talking about an Alabama Saturday night. They're talking about a Tennessee Saturday night. And I've got one thing to say about this game.
What you get? Well, I mean, one thing.
And that is Rammer, Jammer, Alabama.
Oh, yes. I love it, baby.
Man.
Well, I don't think really Tennessee won this game. I just think they lost less.
I will say this. We talked about both teams. You know, one team might figure it out. I still think both teams have a lot of questions. Alabama has more questions now. Man, we'll see what happens though when Tennessee's able to hit some of those down the field strikes. The way it opens things up for them, because that was the difference in the second half.
Yes. Now let me ask you this right here. You tell me how Nico can hit these. He can't hit these wide open guys, but you put a small window there, and the kid hits those passes perfect.
I don't know. You think maybe he gets the big eye when he sees one running free?
He must get the big something.
Gets too excited. I mean, you see a lot of dudes like that. You know, I've seen dudes wide open layups. I'm probably one of them. You give me a wide open layup down low, I'll probably throw it over the backboard, trying to get it up there so quick. And I believe some of it may be that. Now I tell you, I watched this game and. You know, Bama drove down the field, and I thought Bama's going to score right here and throw an interception in the end zone. Bama gets the ball back, drives on down the field, scores, gets an interception, then gets another interception, and then I think Tennessee said, well, heck, we can run the ball too, son. Yeah. and that was, to me, was the difference in the game. Finally, Tennessee quit throwing the ball and said, we can run the ball with you, Alabama. We're going to line up and run it down your throats. And that kind of opened everything up for Tennessee after they drove down the field like they did and scored with the running game. And I think it kind of helped open their passing game up.
Well, we've been saying that all season long that Tennessee's passing game is only good when the running game is going.
Well, they miss, like you were talking about, some of them big passes, like just – all they need, you know, if they're running as open as they are, just get the ball on them.
Yeah,
it don't have to be the home run, just a chunk play.
Underthrow it. The thing is, he's overthrowing these guys.
Even if they got to slow down a step or two, you know, at least get it to them when they're wide open.
But now let's talk about that Tennessee defense.
But I think you just take
away.
Say
enough about them.
I think you take all these interceptions away, man. Tennessee could have put up a whole lot more points.
Well, I feel like it should have been 21-0 Tennessee at halftime because they took the opening kickoff, drove down, fumble inside the 25.
Yeah,
two interceptions
in the red zone, and that was all in the first half. So I feel like they went into halftime feeling pretty good about themselves. Like, hey, we just cleaned this up down there, and we're going to blow them out. I mean, they didn't blow them out, but their defense held Alabama.
I think
to
Alabama
24 rushing yards in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely, they did. But like Tennessee scored 7 points in like 44 minutes of football.
Yeah,
that's what sucks too. That's what had me worried. I mean, it was 44 points that they'd scored or 7 points in 45 minutes worth of football. And their offense is set up to really, you know, move quick, score quick, and everything. And I was worried about it. But, I mean, they pulled it out.
It's a good thing when you can rely on your defense like that, you know. It does make your offense be able to go out there and afford to make some mistakes, knowing you got a defense like that to back you up.
They backed them up all year now, that's for sure.
You're daggone right they have. That's 2 games in a row of defense winning ball games right there.
They have a national championship defense. I'm not going to say they're going to win the national championship or anything like that, but that defense is a defense that can win a national championship if you can score some points for them.
I think in this game, my opinion, we learned more about Tennessee than we did Bama. I think Bama's still a great team, but now you know that Tennessee is that good. You know, I mean, that they can go out there and play with the Georgia and Alabamas.
Did you know they got that what's the little freshman wide receiver from Alabama, Williams?
Yeah, the 17-year-old.
Yeah. Man, did you notice they beat him up? I tell you what, I gained a lot of respect for that kid, though. There was one time I saw he had some blood on his jersey, and you could tell he was getting tired of getting hit like that, but he just kept on coming. I give him props, but I think Alabama will be fine. I heard Saban say this before the game. A lot of people forget that they had 26 people transfer off that roster. and you don't replace that with 26 other transfers.
No, not overnight. Not in 1 year.
But
But
for the next 364 days, Alabama fans can just shh. Shh.
This is the way they'll be.
Oh yeah, they're crickets coming out of Tuscaloosa, baby.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that defense, you saying that they have that national championship defense. I agree with that. I think that's a defense that's going to give them a shot to win some games down the stretch, and especially when it comes to playoff time, if they get into the playoff picture, and now their percentage is way up of getting in that. So take care of business. Their defense is going to set them up to win some games. Now, it's up to the offense whether they get it done or not.
And their schedule now too. I'm not saying it's easy, but they've got. I looked today. I think it's Kentucky, Mississippi State, UTEP, them Dogs, and then Vandy. So they should
The
roll
last
into
two they got to worry about.
So they should roll into that Georgia game. Still in the same position where they're in this week. People talking about them being a playoff team.
I tell you, Vandy scares me with them though. The way that they've been playing,
Vandy should scare everybody a little bit.
Absolutely, they should. All right, let's move on. Illinois 21, Michigan 7. Pretty clear that Michigan did not have it in this game. Michigan isn't a good football team right now, and I believe they're unraveling at the seams.
They don't have a quarterback. Hard to play football without a quarterback.
I think they fumbled quite a few times too, didn't they?
I think so.
Ugly game for Michigan. It's just plumb ugly. I mean, that ain't nothing else you can explain for it. And I mean,
It's falling apart from the inside out. I mean, you'd be sitting the coaches.
A little bit, yeah. I think there's just not any. I think there's talent. You know, they lost a lot last year, but I think there's still talent there. I just don't think they. It was the same thing with Harbaugh. You know, for years, whenever he was at Michigan, it was like, man, they'd have a pretty good defense, good running game, but he didn't have a quarterback. And this year, their defense is young, inexperienced. I mean, they lost. Gosh, what was it? I saw something. It was like 18 out of 22 starters from last year's team.
I forget.
Yeah, they're all in the NFL too.
Yeah.
And I named off their stats there at the end of the year last year, and it was unreal, their defensive stats, and it was hard to believe their defense was actually that good, you know. And, well, it may have been the beginning of this year because Virginia Tech stats was almost, on defensively, was almost as good as Michigan's was as far as, you know, pass defense and stuff like that. It was unreal, their stats, and they've lost every bit of that. And yeah, it's hard to recover with a young defense and do the same thing.
And I know they lost 2 or 3 of their offensive linemen, not just graduated, but NFL. The whole backfield is in the NFL. You know,
The whole old coaching staff is in the NFL.
Except for the head coach who was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, man. Notre Dame 31, Georgia Tech 13.
Who cares?
Disappointing, rambling wreck. Y'all are a rambling wreck. It's what you are.
I didn't know this, Kermit. I didn't know anything about this before we picked, but the Haynes King or whatever his name is, the quarterback, Georgia Tech, he was out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that till yesterday.
Does that make a difference?
I think he does make a difference with him. I don't know necessarily that they beat Notre Dame with him. But
Okay, so 31-21 then.
I still think it was a game Georgia Tech would have showed up for and loved to have got the upset in this game right here.
yeah, after seeing the way that kid handled himself and stuff in other games, and the way the team rallies around him, I think it does make. Not necessarily saying they would beat Notre Dame, but I think it makes a difference in. It's a lot closer game.
I tell you, that's what I loved about Tim Tebow, man. I tell people all the time, I said, I don't care what his stats are. He gets out on the field and he goes out there and makes a lead block for your receiver, your running back, and plows dudes. That makes every one of your linemen say, "Oh man, I better start getting on my horse."
You'll go there and play for him.
Yeah. You willing to lay down and die for a man like that,
And that's sort of, I think that's the feeling I get from the Georgia Tech quarterback is he's their, there's no doubt he's their leader. And boys, you got to have that in football. We all know that. And it's better when it's your quarterback.
Absolutely. Georgia 30, Texas 15.
Shocker.
Ooh. I just think Georgia had a great game plan in this one. They didn't allow Texas to get the long developing plays. Ewers just was not as comfortable. And when he's out of the pocket, he's not as good as he is standing in the pocket. And Georgia definitely made him feel uncomfortable being in that pocket. Forced him out there. And Georgia killed their offensive line. So he just couldn't stand in there and make throws without extending the pocket. So, to me, Georgia's defense won this game for them. And it's just a classic Georgia football.
I tell you, just a good history lesson. They come up with the American Bulldog, what we call American Bulldog, Pit Bull. They designed that dog to go out there and take a bull down by his throat, and that's exactly what these Georgia Bulldogs did, man. They went up and grabbed them Texas Longhorns right by their throats, and I'm telling you, their defense was so impressive. Getting in the backfield, it didn't matter which quarterback Texas put in; they was getting back there and hitting them hard. But it's you got to give it up to this Georgia defense, man. They come to play. They come to show the world who they are in this big game right here.
Yeah, this was which we all sort of knew this would be a good game, and Georgia. Well, they feel like they didn't show who they are down there at Alabama.
Yeah.
And we all know Kirby Smart. I mean, like him or not, he's a great coach, and he had them boys ready to roll. And Texas wasn't ready, and like you said, it didn't matter who came in. The one thing that I thought would have helped, but ended up they just made an adjustment was Arch Manning he can run and move a little bit, and it did on that first drive.
Yeah.
But then Georgia adjusted to it, and it was like, my gosh.
And I think Kirby, he only had 2 words, for them boys. He said, sick them.
Sick them, boys.
Sick them.
That's what. And when the bus got to the stadium, he just threw his hands up and said, sick them.
Because, he turned the dogs loose, baby. Woo, woo, woo.
Well, question for you boys on this one. I mean, what is the adjustment for Texas moving forward?
Well, to be honest with you, Texas didn't look impressive, but the second half they did come out and start scoring with Georgia. I just think, kind of like we talk about Ridgeview, I just think Texas wasn't ready for this physicality right here.
Overwhelmed them in the first half.
Yeah. I think by the time Texas had stepped their game up, and it wasn't going to be no, easy touchdowns by no means, and stepped up and put that 15 points up. It was too late in the ball game.
I agree with Kermit on that. I think Texas is fine. They just ran into a Georgia buzzsaw that hadn't been, felt like everybody forgot about them and wrote them off because they lost one game, and they said, "Hey guys, you remember us?"
They came in mad.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they came in mad.
You could tell that by the way they were warming up. I mean, they came in with something to prove, and I think Texas. I don't think Texas overlooked them, but I don't think Texas realized what they were fixing to tangle with.
I don't think they've been in that physical ball game yet.
No,
and that was their first taste of it. you know, the physicality.
And I would say the closest that group from Texas has had would have been last year at Alabama. Whenever they pulled off the win at Alabama, but I would say that's probably the closest they've had. And Georgia, though, that's been the key thing for Georgia for the past 4 years. They just, man, their defense is a different kind of physical.
Kirby, he fed them dogs some, you know, meat and gunpowder like we used to back in the old days.
Yeah.
Give them white waters that meat with gunpowder in it, and let them go crazy. Because that's what they done. They went crazy on defense, man.
Yeah, man.
That Jalen Carter, is that his name? That linebacker from Georgia?
Yeah.
Stud.
Definitely a stud. I agree with that 100%. Definitely a stud. All right, boys. Week 9 college picks. Up first, we have Washington, Indiana.
Playing your song, Kermit.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, man. Indiana, they won my vote for this week after what they done last week. I'm gonna go for Indiana in this one.
It ain't basketball yet. Ain't basketball season yet in Indiana, and I think they win this one handily.
Yeah, I know they're without their quarterback, but I'm still going to go with Indiana myself. Nebraska, Ohio State.
Well, after the showing Nebraska just had, as much as this pains me, give me the Buckeyes. Give me the $20 million roster.
I'm with you on that one. I'm going with Ohio State Buckeyes too.
Same thing after last week's showing. Yeah, I'm going with the Ohio Bucks.
Notre Dame Navy.
You know my pick, and it ain't Notre Dame.
Them little lucky leprechauns. I'm gonna go with Notre Dame.
You know Navy's undefeated, and this game's at Navy.
Yeah.
You know Notre Dame don't play nowhere but up there at South Bend. This will be their first time they played a ranked team on the road, I think, since 1913.
Do you know what that luck of the Irish is, Grant? Do you really know what it is?
What?
It's them referees on their side. Come on with the leprechauns.
Well, I'm going with the Navy.
The midshipman.
Oh,
Yeah, Mizzou, Alabama.
well, I can tell you one thing: Mizzou better not play that bad this week, because, I don't think Alabama's going to have any problem taking advantage of turnovers like they did against Tennessee. But I'm going to go with Alabama. Roll Tide. I'd hate to be in their way after this week.
Yeah, I'm going Alabama in this one. I think they bounced back after last week, and Missouri's been underperforming. Well, Missouri's not been under. Missouri's been Missouri.
Yeah, I got Alabama in this one as well. BYU, UCF.
BYU just seems to keep winning. Which didn't UCF win a big one this past weekend?
I can't remember.
It doesn't matter. Give me BYU.
I got BYU as well.
Man, at times UCF they can be really, really good. You know,
They're dangerous.
they played Alabama pretty tough for 3 quarters and 5 minutes, I guess. But I'm gonna stick with BYU.
Yeah, UCF they lost to Iowa State by 3, but Iowa State's ranked 10th in the country. So I mean, UCF ain't no slouch, but I'll stay with the Cougars.
Kansas State. I hope they both lose, but I'm going to go Kansas.
Why do you hope both lose?
I don't like either one of them.
That's a mean thing to say, but what did the state of Kansas ever do to you?
You don't like Kent State.
I just don't like them.
What did the state of Kansas ever do to you?
Nothing, but I just don't like them.
Does Kent State still got that 100-year-old coach?
I have no idea, Kermit.
I don't know.
He's good, though, isn't he?
That was Notre Dame, Lou Holtz.
No, Kent State had a pretty old coach there too. But I'm gonna go with them Mockingbirds, them Kansas.
I'm going to go K-State.
LSU, Texas A&M.
This has become a good game, like a good rivalry game since A&M joined the SEC. But I'm going to go Tigers.
You know me, dog. I'm a roll tiger. You know how you catch a tiger? You catch him by the tail, and Texas A&M can't do it.
That's right, son.
Roll Tigers.
I'm with you on that. I got LSU in that one too. Texas, Vandy. Woo, Texas rolling out of that one game coming into this one. Vandy could.
Here's the problem I think Vandy's going to have now, though. They're not sneaking up on anybody anymore. And kind of like what we were saying about the Alabama game, I look for Texas to bounce back and handle Vandy.
I think a lot of people still underestimating Vandy, and I'm gonna say Vandy gonna roll up and get another one.
Bose, I wouldn't put it past them, Kern. You may have a good pick there, but I'm going to go safe with Texas. Illinois, Oregon.
You know my pick, dog.
The
Go
ugly uniforms.
Ducks, baby.
Why they wear them ugly uniforms again?
And they can win no matter what they wear. It don't matter.
Yeah, I got the Ducks in this one as well.
Yeah, I'm going Ducks.
Well, all the way around the table, we got the Ducks. All right, boys. High school football week number 8.
Awesome week, man. Awesome week of football right here.
It was.
And I tell you, I guess we're gonna open up with this first game, and man, this game right here, it took me back, son, back to the old days. Second half of this ball game, Gate City was blowing it out in second half. I thought Lehigh went and I thought they set Pendergraft down and went and got Doug Flutie and put him in this ball game.
Well, you know, them uniforms kind of remind you of Boston College back in the day.
Oh, they do, don't they? Mm-hmm. Yeah, them golden helmets. Yeah, it's but if you left at halftime in this ball game, you left way too early. I tell you that. I don't know how many people probably left way too early in this one, and Lee had a big play right there before halftime. They was trying to drive down the field, and I think they threw the pass around about the 50-yard line, and time was already going off the clock, man. And dude fumbles it. Kid from Gate City picks it up and runs it all the way in just to increase that lead before half. And you talking about now looking back at it, how big that one play right there with no time on the clock, nothing. And how big that big fumble return was right there for Gate City, because, man, Lehigh come out, and we've talked about their receivers and how quick these guys are, man. And Lehigh just kept driving down the field and scoring. I think Pendergraft, joking about putting Doug Flutie in, but I think he still ended up with like 450-some yards.
456, I believe it was.
And that's hard to believe. He throwed for that many yards, and they still lost this ball game.
I know my answer to this, but I've never, especially in Southwest Virginia, heard of a quarterback throwing for that many yards. And I've also never heard of one throwing for that many yards and losing the game.
Yeah.
That's tough, man.
Well, they was already in such a hole was the thing, but I don't know. It is what it is, I guess.
Tell us about it, dog. Tell us your thoughts on this one.
You think Gate City let their foot off the pedal, or do you think Lehigh just made the adjustments and slung the ball around the yard there and battled back? That, from my viewpoint, it might have been a little bit of both, but Lehigh slung the ball around the yard at will.
I think, Kermit talks about, Kermit talks about that scoop there and everything, and being a big thing. To me, it may have hurt them a little bit because it put that lead out there, and I think they went in there thinking they had this game, come out and their head wasn't in the game, and next thing you know, Lehigh gets turnover two here and there, and that it just started rolling on them. And Gate City's very lucky to come out of here with this win. And to be honest with you, they don't deserve to win this game.
You can give Lehigh credit; it's okay.
Oh yeah, I'll give them credit. The kid played a heck of a ball game, and his brother, the other Pendergraft boy, and the
Number 4.
or is it early or whatever?
Man, that dude's a baller.
Anytime that boy is on the field, I guarantee you he's the fastest kid on the football field that day.
Yeah,
He might be the shortest, but he's the fastest. He'll burn you.
No, I mean, I'm going to give Lee all the props in the world. You're down 35-7 and come back and make this a ball game. I mean, that's just not giving up and everything. So, I mean, yeah, the credit goes to them too. I mean, even if Gate City does kind of lay down, you still got to have that performance out of them,
Well, it goes to that thing too with the way that they can throw the ball around and score. You feel like you're never really out of a game that way.
You better not let up. Yeah. You better not take a throttle off. But, man, I bet them Lehigh people, man, they had to be on the edge of their seats.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you're at a ball game, man, this is what you want right here, this excitement and everything. If you're Gate City, you're probably a little aggravated, but
You're probably like Aaron said. You're feeling like,
yeah,
we stole one. We held on. We didn't deserve that, but we'll take it.
Yeah, the way they played the second half, they really didn't deserve to win that game, really. But I mean, as a fan, I'm glad they did. But I mean, honestly, if Gate City don't go into this, I mean, the game's way worse than it is,
Oh yeah,
and should have been. But I mean, it is what it is. I salute the Lehigh Generals for not giving up and playing their hind ends off in that second half.
that says a lot about them as a team and where they're at with that program. Because this is we've talked about this before. It's a program that seems like they can't get their treading, but to come out and fight like that's a good sign when you're trying to establish a program.
I mean, you've seen it a lot of times with some of the best teams out there. Sometimes it starts snowballing on you. It's hard to get adjusted back and really play, and it just about beat Gate City in this one right here, buddy.
sometimes it's hard to turn it back on.
Yeah,
Once
is.
you turn it off.
Well, they never did turn it back on. They just got lucky.
And I guarantee if you're a Lehigh player and you're real competitive, I guarantee them boys went home and just had nightmares about that fumble before half. Giving up at 7 points before half with no time on the clock.
Yep. Well, Ridgeview took care of battle like we all expected. Union took care of Y Central. That was pretty much expected too. Eastside took care of business on homecoming night over Twin Springs. Thomas Walker, Twin Valley. To be honest with you, boys, I do not know who won this game.
Thomas Walker and Twin Valley.
Yeah.
Thomas Walker, 34-8.
34-8.
Yeah.
Then you had John I. Burton, George Wythe. George Wythe took care of the Burton Raiders. Hosting Northwood. Hosting pulled this one off. Rural Retreat, Chilhowie. I don't remember
Roll
this
Retreat
one.
got this one.
Roll Retreat, 1914 over Chilhowie.
All right. Virginia High, Richlands. Virginia High took care of business.
We all expected that one.
I I don't know what happened in the first half in this one. Didn't really watch this one. I don't think I've watched any Richland games this year, but to be honest with you, but I think it was just barely like 28 to nothing at halftime. That kind of surprised me, you know.
That's Virginia high football too. Sometimes
I did notice on watching the highlights on Channel 5, they got that big running back.
oh yeah, he's back now.
And he was a rumbling, stumbling.
And tumbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marion Tazzle took care of business. Honeacre Narrows, this one came down to the last little bit. It was, 50 to 45 or something?
40-35.
Yeah.
40-35.
Honeacre 40, Narrows 35.
And then the game of the week, and the Kdawg went and represented Tailgate Talk there and met up with the Horse Talk boys. So, Dog, I mean, we're going to let you kind of lead us into this one right here a little bit, and then we're going to throw in some input too, buddy.
Oh man, I had an awesome time traveling up to this game. I just wish Grant or Aaron had went with me. Aaron was ready to kill me because he still hadn't got back from Morristown, and I was almost up there. And I told her, he's like, "You dirty dog, you going up there without me?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going, buddy." And
I'm still waiting on that invite.
And you know what else, Grant?
What?
He kept throwing up that he was going to eat bonanza, this and this and that. And here I am. I had ate from McDonald's at 4:30 a.m. that morning, one of those bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles.
Yeah.
I was starving to death. And then he has to tell me how juicy his hamburger had been that day, and that he's going to go eat his bonanza.
I said, "I don't even like BK French fries, but man, these fries is awful good." I said, they've salted the forel, these things.
And you know, Grant's off on Fridays.
And then he told me, he's like,
Still waiting for it to take.
he was like, "You dirty dog, you." He said, "I wish something bad happened to you." I said, he said, "Tell me one more good thing." I said, "Well, the sun's shining where I'm at too." But I get up there and he's like, "What shirt you wearing, man? What shirt you wearing?" And I'm like, "Well, I usually wear my Appalachia sweater." I said, "Or jacket." I said, "But I've actually got a Union sweater on. I'm standing right here with the Grand fans." And he was like, "Kermit, man, don't go to jail." I was like, "Well, you ain't gonna have to worry about it. You ain't even back from work yet. You can just come straight up here and get me out of the jailhouse."
Yeah, I called him. I called him Friday evening, and he was on his way back. He never let me know that Kermit was going to Lebanon.
I didn't get to talk to you but like 10 seconds because my phone kept going out of service.
But yeah, I got up there and watched a little bit of it, and then went down, walked around the little track or whatever you call it, little path, and met the Port Talk guys. Guy right beside them was talking to them. I think it took them a few minutes there to recognize who I was, and man, we had a good old time, you know.
They finally caught on to the Appalachia hillbilly voice.
But yeah, we had a great time, man, sitting there talking about the ball games and stuff, and talking about other games, and I tell you, man, Lebanon come out and they did what we thought they'd do. They went through the air. Their quarterback, he would get hit about every play, and I'll tell you, that number 10 is tough. He was getting drilled, and he was still making some throws, and they got up on Graham 7-0, and the question I had was, how was their defense going to do, you know, against Graham's power running game and stuff. And man, they held Graham 7-0 at halftime, and then come out and Graham changed their offense around, went to a wildcat, pulled their starting quarterback, went to a straight wildcat, and kind of pushed Lebanon around a little bit and try to run it right down their throats with that wildcat, and end up driving down the field after halftime and scoring. I was like, well, this is it. You know, Graham's going to use their power against them, and they're going to quit worrying about throwing the ball. and gonna make it one of them running games. And but Lebanon drove right back down the field. Hit some big bombs. Got right back down the field. Thought they was gonna mess it up with a penalty down there inside the 5, and they end up still scoring. Put them up 14-7. Then kicked off, and I think this took a lot of breath out of Lebanon, because Lebanon's up 14-7. Graham, it took him over half.
This is probably what put the gas in the tank for the momentum.
Yeah.
To get started.
Yeah, and I mean, you held Graham 0 points first half. Then you go down and score another touchdown, make it 14-7. Kick off. Graham kid just runs it all the way back. Wasn't even close to being touched. And you just give up another 7 that quick. And I think it kind of took some breath out of Lebanon, but put life back into Graham. And then the Lebanon kid, he throwed a pass to one of his receivers, and it went right through his arms and went straight back into the corner's hands. And I don't even think nobody even knowed he'd caught it. They probably thought it went out of bounds, but the way he deflected it, it went straight back into the defensive back's hands, and he run it straight in for a touchdown. And that kind of put Lebanon in a hole. Then it's hard to come back from.
I'll say this: the highlight that I saw when we talked about this before we started recording was, and I give credit to that quarterback from Lebanon, because I know he was under pressure all night. But there was a few balls that he got off, and you were like, "Oh man, he's going out. How do you get that pass off?" So I give him credit, and I give Lebanon credit too. They fought. This is sort of one of those games that, I guess, playing in big games year after year after year, with Graham, Union, some of these other schools, they you have to it seems like you have to learn how to win these, and Lebanon maybe learned a valuable lesson. And if these two teams meet up again, it might be a.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a game that helped Lebanon either way, win or lose.
Yeah.
And this one, especially when they played them the way they played them this week, I mean, it still don't crush their confidence. I mean, they probably have to feel pretty good about the outcome of this game and what the score was, knowing that they was right there and had that chance to win.
My biggest question is the defense, and I think Lebanon played good enough defensively to pull a win out on.
What do you think about it? They gave up 14 points off of a kickoff return and a pick six.
Yeah.
So what was the final score?
It would have been
28-14.
Yeah.
So there's 14-14 right there.
I do think their defense had really played good enough to win this game.
Well, if anything, anybody that was questioning if Lebanon's for real, they're for real.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any UAA schools that was questioning or overlooking Lebanon come playoff time, I think this opened eyes.
Oh yeah, I think whoever you are going to play them, you better take them serious.
Yep, absolutely. Well, before we get into the Week 9 picks, Kermit, give us a rundown on where we're at here on our pick'ems, buddy, and for high school ball.
On our pick'ems, Grant, as far as we know, is at a 42-5. He was 12-0 last week. Woo! If you just go off percentage, he's probably got the best pick'em percentage here.
We'll have to take him to the chiropractor tomorrow to get him some help on that arm, because he from patting himself on the back.
Aaron had missed 2 there. He throwed that trickery game in there for us, and he fell short on it, and he went with them. How you say them? Lebanons.
I went with the Lebanians. I had to try to get an upset this week. My 8 ball was telling me different, but I was like, I'm going against you, buddy.
And my heart was with the Lebanians, but my brain said go with Graham. But so Aaron went 10-2. That makes him 82-14. And I finally got serious about it and pulled off a 12-0. And so Kermit, how'd you say it last week? The diagnostic. How'd you say that?
I'm the prognosticator.
No, I am now since I'm in the league. So,
No, sir.
so
sir.
Kermit, your prognosticator.
I'm still the prognosticator. You still the gay dog.
It is 83-13.
You know what it was why he started taking it serious? That's my second 12-0 week. He said, "Oh,
Well,
there's
I
some
mean,
Coburn boy here. He seems to be picking them."
you also missed a lot in just a short amount of time.
I missed.
5 games in a short amount of time. We picked all year and all barely got that many.
You got like 15. You missed 5 a week.
How many? Is it?
14.
That's how many we missed all year.
That's how many you missed.
Well, you just missed 13.
Well, that ain't 14.
That's right.
All right, I'm not gonna pick no. I ain't gonna try to do no upsets.
Hey,
this
you know
week.
what? Close only counts in hand shoes and horse grenades.
Yeah, that is true. And slow dancing.
Slow down.
Don't forget the slow dancing, baby. All right, week 9 picks going in here. We got Gate City at John Battle.
Give me Gate City. Gone battles. They seem to be reeling pretty bad.
Give me the Devils.
I'm going to take the Devils, and hopefully they play 4 quarters. Just in case y'all need to know, up at Gate City, there is 4 quarters to a football game, okay?
I think they just need to play one in this one.
Wisely.
What do you think on this one there, Kdawg?
Wise and Lee. I think Lee is got a taste of blood. I think I'm gonna go Lee in this one.
I think I'm going to go Lee too. Wise seems to be playing better football, but I think Lee's just playing a little bit better football. And I think they gained a lot there Friday night that's going to carry over.
I agree with you, but I think where their eyes were opened at was with the Rocco game.
Yeah.
It really opened their eyes and gave them a lot of confidence, and they're playing with it right now. And with that, I'm going to go with the Generals. You got up next. We're going to skip that one. We'll put it last. One of the last ones anyhow. Murray and Grundy.
Give me the Grundy Golden Wave in this one.
I'm going with you too when the wave comes crashing in, son.
We've all been on the wave past few weeks, man. They're once again that's that team you don't want to see in the first round of the playoffs.
I'm gonna take Grundy in this one. I don't think Marion's won a game yet this year, and I don't think they're going to unless they play John Battle.
They've been playing better though. Current.
Well, them or Richlands one's going to have to win a game
I'm surprised Aaron didn't pick him.
because they're on there. Richlands, Galax.
Give me Galax.
Dog.
This is another one of his trick games he's thrown down on us, Kermit. About 3 of them this time.
Oh, yeah. I'm lucky I got to know Galax a little bit over the last few years in the playoffs. I take Galax easy.
Over the last few years don't mean this year.
They're in the playoffs every year, Aaron.
Yeah, a lot of 3 and 4 teams are 3 and whatever 7. But I do got Galax in this one as well. Graham, Pulaski County.
What do you know about Pulaski County, Kermit?
I'll tell you this. They just put 60-some points on a really good football team last weekend in Blacksburg, and they're going to probably take it to Graham this week too. I got the Pulaski County Cougars.
Pulaski County Cougars. Now, that ain't my pick. I'm just Googling right now. He pulls these, daggone. Iron, you full of it, son. Daggone Blackbird must suck. They, Pulaski County's 1-6 overall. Daggone. Give me just a second.
Well, I'll go ahead and make my pick, Kermit.
They lost to Northside 28-21.
Yeah, they're terrible. That's why I got Graham, man.
No, you done said the Cougars.
I was just messing with
They
Kermit.
lost to Christiansburg 25-6. Patrick Henry 24-7.
That's not the Glade Spring Patrick Henry.
That's
Salem.
Patrick Henry Roanoke.
Yeah.
They only played Salem pretty tough. 56,
Salem's usually pretty good.
56-40. The only thing I can go by is that Christiansburg.
I'll stick with them, man. Pulaski, since y'all gonna hold me to it.
Who is it now? Who they're playing?
Graham.
I'm going with the G-Men.
And I'm going to go with a G-Men.
Tazzle Jaws.
Is this still the same old Jaws that we all know?
No.
Well, give me the Bulldogs in this, and give me Tazewell.
Tazewell been playing pretty decent ball here lately. Hopefully they're in shape enough. I'll go with Tazewell.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bulldogs as well. Castlewood, Burton.
This is a sneaky good game. Two teams desperate for win number 2.
One of them's going to get it.
Yeah. Game in Burton.
I don't think they're going to wire blue and white either.
No. I think the team wearing black and orange is going to pull this one out. Give me the Burton Raiders.
I'm with you on that. I'll take the Burton Raiders.
I'm going to take the J.I. Burton Raiders.
I think this is one of those games where that schedule we all talk about with Burton pays off.
Yeah, absolutely. Twin Springs, Hancock County.
Well, last time we had a game like this with Twin Springs with Cumberland Gap, I picked Cumberland Gap, and Keith proved me wrong. I'm not going to let him give me another. I'm not going to let him do it again. So give me the Titans.
Grant's going to take the Titans. I couldn't believe they got beat by Castlewood like they did last week. I'm going to go with Hancock County.
I'm going with the Twin Springs Titans.
Yeah, I went against them that one time with the Cumberland Gap game that I thought was going to be close, and it ain't going to happen again.
Thomas Walker, East Side.
Who you got in this one there, Kdawg?
Could this one be sneaky, boys?
It is down in Ewing.
Thomas Walker's a really good improved team this year, and they give the league a pretty decent ball game after the beginning of the season. I thought they actually outplayed the league in 3 quarters. They just got blowed out in the second quarter, but I got to go with the number 2 East Side.
Yeah, I think this game's closer than what people might expect because Thomas Walker's not a bad football team, but I think Eastside pulls the win out.
I just don't think they've not got the talent stacked up like Eastside has now.
I think that it's kind of Eastside just will physically wear them out, just over line up, playing that physical run game.
And that big running back Norris, he's out too, I reckon, still. So
I think he's one of Thomas Walker's better players, ain't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was. He's
On
stud.
both sides of the ball.
Yep. You going with the Spartans?
I am going with the Spartans, and I'm going to give the Spartans this right here too. Big old iron horn, they love it.
Well, they had the air horns and the cowbells and stuff going there Friday night. It sounded like
Yeah, it was like ding 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 ding.
that's just one person's bell.
No, that's a lot of them. I thought, boy, these people are starving to death. They were like me.
Got them dinner bells out.
Yeah, they did have the iron horns and stuff going. They were pretty rowdy up there.
You better quit making fun of my best friend, Chad.
Rocco Chihowie.
I'm gonna go War Eagle.
I don't even know why you asking me, dog. You know what
Because
wagon
we
I...
want them War Eagle people want to hear what you have to say.
You know what wagon I'm driving right now.
War Eagles. Well, I'm going to tell you just like this. The last bandwagon I got on with you, we ended up wrecking over there on Jewel Ridge there somewhere. But I think you got a little bit better wheels on this wagon here, dog, and I'm going to ride the War Eagles with you.
Yeah, man.
Lebanon, Virginia High. This right here will be one of our featured games this week.
It's a sneaky good game because you got athletes on both sides of the field.
Well, you got an awesome passing attack, probably playing one of the best defensive backfields in this part of the Southwest Virginia.
And here's we talked about maybe Lebanon took a step there. Last Friday was the Graham game. There's also a chance though that they, a little emotional letdown coming into this game, and
Yeah, that's very possible.
I mean, it's a highly possible thing, but man, I'm a believer in the Lebanon Pioneers, so give me Lebanon. I'm liking what the Bearcats got going, but I feel like they're a year or two away.
Grant loves them the Lebanians.
Oh, they're gonna be in that postseason too.
Oh yeah,
Man, I think this is a playoff game right here. If you want to go see a game this week,
Yep.
it's going to be a playoff game. This is pretty much a playoff game. To me, I know I went and watched Lebanon last week, but I'm liable to travel over. I ain't got to see Virginia High in person this year. Liable to travel to Virginia High there and watch this game, this week, even though it's Lebanon again. But
Yeah, I think it should be the one we try to hit up.
I think it's two good matched up teams. It's like Aaron said, you got a great passing attack, air raid from Lebanon, and got one of the best defensive, fastest secondaries probably in Mountain 7 over here. But where it's a home game, I believe I'm going to take Virginia High.
Kermit pulling an upset.
You went Virginia High?
Mm-hmm.
Good night.
I know you wanted to.
I did.
Let me
I
ask
was
you a
going
question.
to.
Are you thinking that Lebanon might have a little letdown after last week?
Well, they could, but man, I'm telling you, when you see Virginia High's line in person,
They're big
Yeah.
they're big.
and they're fast.
They can really, they should be able to push Graham all over the field.
I'm riding it with you, dog. I'm going with the Bearcats in this one.
They played Graham pretty tough too.
And they had a lot of players out against Graham. But yeah, it being a home game, to me, I give the advantage to Virginia High.
Yeson's got the potential of being a barn burner, but I'm with you on it, I think.
I won't be. I picked Lebanon, but I won't be shocked one bit if Virginia High pulls the win.
I mean, yeah. You
It's-
should be
it's-
shocked either way.
It's
No.
not going to surprise me either way.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I don't think neither one's a bad pick. It's like I said, it's a playoff game.
I agree
right
with you.
here.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see in the playoffs.
Well, our other featured game of the week will be Abingdon hosting Ridgeview.
Woo!
Both of these games actually has a lot of playoff implications on them, and the Virginia High Lebanon game will have seeding implications on it too. So, but you going Ridgeview? Is that what you was howling for?
You had your mind. They didn't let me down once. I ain't picking them again.
Oh, that's what I started to say. That wagon crashed, son.
Yeah, we done rode that wagon over the hill. It didn't make it far.
It wasn't just one wheel fell off. I mean, all four of them did.
We had to pack all our stuff home on our backs. It's hard to catch a ride out of that place, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Where you at, Grant?
No, I'm going Falcons.
Nah, I just, man, until Abingdon proves different, I still think they got one of the biggest, most powerful defenses in the Mountain 7 right now. And until they prove me different, otherwise, I got to go Abingdon. I just wish they'd do something different with Homeacre. I wish they'd put them back at quarterback or something, get the ball to them.
Actually, the way that Ridgeview has been playing, or Abingdon's been playing as of late, I really think Ridgeview wins this game, but I'm not getting on that wagon no more. I'm still sore from the last time, and I'm going with the Falcons.
You think they're gonna win it, but you're gonna go with the Falcons.
I think Ridgeview has a good shot at winning it just because of the way Abingdon's not really played that good here recently.
They've been up and down.
They've played softer teams here lately, and I will agree with that. I mean, the beginning of their season, man, they had some really good ball clubs lined up, and some really good games, and but yeah, they didn't impress me too much against John Battle, but, you know, John Battle's fresh at the beginning of the year. They had high hopes, you know. I think John Battle's, them kids kind of give up there. But I still say when it comes to a big game, I believe this defense is going to step up, and they're pretty doggone impressive at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think that Abingdon sort of, they almost have been playing to their competition. It seems like. And
Yeah, that makes sense too.
But, you know, they ain't going to overlook the Ridgeview team, and I think they're too good.
My opinion is what's killing Abingdon right now is you've got the best player on the field out there, and he's not getting the ball. And I even talked to some Abingdon guys over there at the Lebanon game that showed up over there, and, you know, a lot of them talked about it too, is, you know, wish they had Homeacre back there at quarterback again, just as talented as he is. And, I mean, he makes your linebackers, you know, freeze up and stuff. Yeah. He opens stuff up for you when you got a guy that talented. And
he's not the greatest thrower in the world, but what he does with his legs is sure going to make some guys get open, and he don't have to throw a beautiful pass to him. I mean, but he can get it to him.
Oh yeah, but you got a guy that talented, you know, he got to get more touches on the ball. I think that's where Abingdon's coming up here lately, kind of stale at, is on their offensive side of the ball, unless they're playing Marion.
Yep. Well, boys, is anybody else got anything on their heart?
No.
It's almost playoff time, baby.
Almost playoff time.
Oh, we're getting close.
About a month away, ain't we?
Oh, man. Yeah, we are. A few weeks, and we'll be right there talking it up. We'll be having to plan our tailgate party. And
yeah, man. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, man. So, well, if all hearts and minds clear, we'll see you on the next time. Peace.